Hello and welcome to this morning's Liverpool news roundup here on Anfield Agenda. My name is Conor and I'm going to take you through all of the latest Liverpool news, including more links with Antoine Semenyo, a little bit on Konaté's future and how that will affect Liverpool's pursuit of Marc Guéhi. We have some contract news around Alisson Becker, Dominik Szoboszlai and Ryan Gravenberch, and then we have some quotes from Arne Slot's press conference, which has just finished this morning. Before we get into it, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and let's jump straight into the news. Let's start with Antoine Semenyo then. So Greg Evans was speaking about this in his latest article for The Athletic, and he said, a tried and trusty pacey winger would add another dimension to Liverpool's attack, and several players are admired. Antoine Semenyo is one of those, but after a huge outlay on attacking players in the last window, there's no rush to bring in any more. Liverpool are also mindful of blocking Rio Nguimoha's pathway, and Slot would also like to see how Frimpong performs on the right side of attack when he returns from injury. Only a standout market opportunity would alert that thinking in January, and that once again is from Greg Evans of The Athletic. I can understand bits and pieces of that, like I can understand not wanting to block the way through for Rio. I think Frimpong on the right, it could work. Anything we have seen of him there so far, it hasn't really worked. Like he started there against Galatasaray, I believe it was, when Mo Salah was dropped, and he just didn't really look that good there. Like in theory, he does have the components. Like he has the pace, he has the crossing ability, and I don't know if he has much shooting ability in all honesty, but look, I'm willing to give it a chance, but I wouldn't be holding my breath on that being like a fantastic option for us. I would agree with everyone when they say that centre-back should be the main priority rather than a winger, but I think we could do a lot worse than getting Antoine Semenyo in, particularly at 65 million. I think that is a fair price for a player of his quality, and then like that gives us options to replace Salah long-term on the right. It's more competition for Gakpo on the left. Like, I don't think it would necessarily block Rio's pathway through. Like, Chiesa is probably going to move on. So then we're left with, let's say, Isak Ekitike, Semenyo, Salah and Gakpo. Salah then will be gone at the end of next season, and then you still have to sign more players to fill out those gaps. You do realistically need 5 or 6 options. So if Chiesa leaves, Semenyo comes in to replace him, and then you have Rio as well in terms of another player to bulk up the attack. But again, wouldn't be my first priority, but if the club wants Semenyo and he's available at that price and we can get him, I would say go and do it, just get it done. Like, I know we spent a lot of money in the summer, but we only really replaced what we left in all honesty. We didn't really build out the squad for depth, and the manager just doesn't trust Chiesa, and he doesn't seem to trust Rio yet either. So I think go out and get Semenyo, also get a centre-back, but I would not be saying no to Semenyo one bit. Moving on to centre-backs then, this again from Greg Evans. He said, what happens with Ibrahima Konaté will largely shape how active Liverpool are in their search for another centre-back. Liverpool would still like to sign Guéhi, but the chance of that happening in January is slim. Now, I would like to know, like, why is it slim? Is it because the player doesn't want to move in January? Is it because we don't want to spend the money in January because we know we can wait until the summer and get him for free? I would like no more detail on that, but I think that probably makes sense. Like I've always said along the way, I think Marc Guéhi will join us in the summer, but I will be going out and signing another centre-back in January, particularly if Konaté is going to leave, because Joe Gomez is probably going to leave at the end of the season, in all honesty, and I think we could do with replacing him early. Yes, he put in a fantastic shift at right back, but I think ultimately he probably will leave. And let's say Konaté does stay, let's be positive. Let's say we have Konaté, Van Dijk, Marc Guéhi, Giovanni Leone, and then another centre-back, like another young kind of centre-back, let's say. That's 5 options, gives us plenty of wiggle room. If we want to play 3 at the back, we can. If we want more options at the back, it works as well. So I would 100% be looking for another centre-back in January, along with signing Marc Guéhi in the summer. But yeah, I wouldn't be holding my breath on getting him in January, because like Greg Evans says there, the chances of it is slim. But never say never, it could happen. But yeah, I would expect the summer is probably a little bit more likely. To finish up then on the Greg Evans piece, he was speaking about Liverpool's player contracts, and he said Alisson's contract also expires at the end of the year, but Liverpool are expected to take up the 1-year option they have to extend it into 2027. Early talks over extending Dominik Szoboszlai's contract have started, and similar discussions are likely to follow with Ryan Gravenberch. Now, we've seen the Szoboszlai and Gravenberch talk from a few journalists. I believe Romano confirmed it recently as well that those talks have begun. There was some rumours of a McAllister contract as well. I feel like of our midfield options, he's the most likely to want to push for a move, and I think he'd be the most likely we would want to cash in on if we did feel the need to do that. I think it's entirely feasible that we could see McAllister move on in the next year or two, particularly if we do, let's say, move him on and get someone like an Adam Wharton or Eduardo Camavinga just to be another option. Like, we do need more of a number 6 in this team, and I think if we are to replace someone in midfield of the starters, let's say, I think McAllister probably is the most at risk, and again, the most likely, I think, who would be happy to leave or happy to move on, because I think, not even happy to leave, that's probably the wrong word, but I think in terms of if anyone is going to want to move more, it will be him more so than Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, because I think they will want to settle down for the next 4 or 5 years. They're still quite young, and then maybe to move on in the future. But I think if you had to pick one now, McAllister is most likely, and I could definitely see a world where that does happen. Would like him to extend, obviously, but the report here only mentioned Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. And on the Alisson thing, like, yeah, I can't see us not triggering that option. I can't imagine we're just going to go, no, that's fair enough, we'll let him off for free in the summer. That's never going to happen. I would be interested to see, does Alisson get another contract, or do we think, like, we've got our value of him? Maybe Mamardashvili steps up next season or the year after and kind of just makes that starting spot his own. I would also be interested to see what Alisson would want to do. Like, would he want to stay longer? Would he want to try something different? We haven't really heard a lot about his future, in fairness, but look, whatever the club do want, I'll trust their judgments. Mamardashvili has looked decent when he has played, but ultimately I would be extending Alisson's contract if it's possible, because he's probably the best keeper in the world still, in fairness, so the longer we can keep him, the better. But look, I will trust the club's judgment on this. If the player wants to move, I think he's earned the right at this point as well. If he does want to move on in 2027 to try something new, then fair enough. But yeah, I'd definitely be hoping he does extend for another year or two at least. Just going to fly through some of the quotes then from Arne Slot's press conference, which finished up this morning. So on Mohamed Salah, he did confirm that Mo Salah will go to the AFCON on December 15th. So he will be available for Brighton at home. That will be the last game Salah will be involved with for Liverpool. That will be the last game Salah is involved with for Liverpool before heading off to AFCON. December 15th he is leaving. And on the fact he was dropped against West Ham, he had this to say: of course the player is not happy if he's not starting, but he was very supportive of his teammates. He's a top professional. That's pretty much exactly what I expected from Salah, to be honest. Like, no player is going to be happy sitting on the bench, particularly when you're the calibre of Mohamed Salah. Particularly when you are the calibre of a Mo Salah. Like, you don't want to sit on the bench, but I'm sure he does understand it ultimately. And as we said on the podcast yesterday, like, he shouldn't be immune from rotation. Like, we play a stupid amount of games. It's basically 3 a week from now until March, and now he's going off to AFCON as well, so more games. But I think Salah just has to accept he can't play every minute, especially getting up to his age as well. Like, you need to rotate him, need to use him a bit more sparingly, and hopefully that will help him turn around his form as well, because like, more rest for him of course might work. Like, if he does start against Sunderland after being rested against West Ham, maybe he's fit and firing a bit more. If he does come on games for the last half an hour, he's coming on with fresh legs against tiring legs, maybe that helps him get back into form. So look, I'm sure he will take it on the chin. He won't be happy about sitting on the bench, but I'm sure he will be a professional about it. And like Slot said there, he was very supportive of his teammates, and I expected no less from the man, because he is very classy, very top professional, and yeah, good to see that he's not taking it to heart too much anyway. Some other bits then, Arne Slot did confirm that he expects to have Conor Bradley back available for Leeds at the weekend, which is great. Like, obviously we do need more options at right back. As good as Joe Gomez was there, we can't really rely on his fitness. Like, he hasn't played a huge amount of minutes, and he can't be playing 90 minutes week in, week out at right back, especially when he has to be bombing up and down the wings as well. That's not going to be good for Joe Gomez's body, and I'm sure he would end up injured again if we don't use him sparingly. So good to see Conor Bradley back. Jeremy Frimpong is another few weeks away, I think, as well. So once we have them back, it should be a good few nice options at right back there as well. Speaking on the fitness issues then of Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz and Joe Gomez, Arne Slot said, "I don't think they can play 3 times 90 in a week. Now we have to wait to see if they can be involved from the start on Wednesday. All 3 can feature in all the 3 games." So look, like we said there with Gomez, like Isak and Wirtz as well, just coming back from injuries and knocks, like they're not going to be playing 90 minutes week in, week out. It could be a case of maybe we see Ekitike start against Sunderland and then Isak is back in against Leeds, or the other way around. But I think I would definitely expect to see him coming off after 60 minutes if they do start. Same applies to Florian Wirtz and Joe Gomez. Like, we need to just rotate, need to keep players fit. That's probably the main thing that Arne Slot and his coaching staff were able to do last season, was managing minutes, keeping everyone fit. And if we can start to do that again, we'll have a much better chance of gaining some consistency, because injuries are never good, of course. Like, that's an obvious thing to say, but the more fit you can keep your players, the better. And like you said there, they can't be playing 90 minutes 3 times in a week. So it will be interesting to see who he does start against Sunderland on Wednesday. Please do let me know in the comments below what you would do on Wednesday. Would you be bringing Salah back in? Would you start Isak? Does Wirtz have to start again? Does Gomez have to start at right back? I think ultimately Gomez does have to start this game. I'd be taking him off after maybe 55, 60 minutes if the game is looking positive. Maybe stick Curtis Jones or someone in there just to see out the end of the game. But he was brilliant there against West Ham. I think he deserves another chance there. Particularly if Salah does come back into the starting 11, I think he deserves to have a chance at right wing with a proper right back behind him again. give Joe Gomez a chance there, like with Salah, and just let Salah just do his thing. See is he any better after getting rest as well. And yeah, I'll be interested to see what he goes with, but I would imagine Salah starts. But please do let me know in the comments below your score prediction and your team prediction for Wednesday. That's all for me this morning anyway. Thank you for watching the nasally agenda. I do realise my voice has been nasally and I've had to stop this video about 15 times to clear my throat. But thank you very much for persisting if you got this far. Please do hit the like button before you head out. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Craig will be back with a video in the afternoon, and then we'll be live again this evening at 8:45 as usual. So please do keep an eye out for those. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon.